Happy Tuesday. Giannis freaking hates me, but we hit another under. Let's talk some basketball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we are here on Tuesday, January 9th, to talk some more basketball, baby. That's right. As you heard in the cold intro, 1-in-1 day for me. Giannis let me down again. I take his under and he scores 100. I take his over and he scores 20 something, but he did have a triple double. But, anyways, we'll go over that recap. 1-in-1 day, blah, boring. But let's get back on track today. Be real quick, the NFL playoff preview videos, we will have two different videos. One video for the Saturday games, one for the Sunday games, and then, of course, we'll do Sunday night videos for those Monday ones. They will be coming out later this week, so stay tuned for those. I'm excited to break down those matchups, give us our best bets, and let you know who I think is going to the Super Bowl and who wins it. But before we get in, I only got two things to go over. One, it's Tuesday, so it's Tuesday Talk. I just made that up. I don't know. NBA edition, kind of like a debate, but it's not really a debate today. And then I'm going to give you two dad jokes, and then we'll get into some basketball. So here we go. Tuesday Talk. Here's what I need. Leave a comment below. Who is the most exciting player you have ever watched in the NBA? It does not mean the best player. It just means the most exciting player where you were just like, I got to watch him play. This is must-watch TV. I'm going to give you my two. First one, Steph Curry. You guys know I love Steph Curry already. He's just unreal. His quick release, how he moves without the ball, his swag that he has. I mean, we're talking rocking the baby to sleep, putting people to sleep. He literally shoots like literally already knows what's going in before it leaves his hand. His confidence is unreal. And I just love watching him play. He's so exciting. Anywhere on the court is his range. So that's one of them. Next one is Derrick Rose, but it's prime Derrick Rose. That guy moved laterally quicker than I've ever seen anybody. He was so incredibly explosive. I remember watching him at Memphis thinking, how does a human body even handle those kind of movements? Well, sure enough, his body did not handle it. But anyways, prime Derrick Rose, Steph, obviously LeBron is like up there, guys. He's a freak athlete, but I just want to give you two under the radar. So leave a comment below. Let me know who your favorite player is that you've ever watched in the NBA. Nobody better say Tim Duncan because, man, that guy was boring. So incredibly good, but boring. Anyways, dad jokes. It's time. I got two of them for you today. So here we go. Every morning, I tell my family I'm going jogging. And then I don't go. It's a running joke in the house. That's great. All right, next one. Well, okay, so I was going to tell you a time traveling joke, but you guys didn't like it. Da-da. Okay, that's it, guys. Done. Stupid, but funny. Gotta love it. All right, in this video, bets recap. 101, we'll go over that. Shooting guard day. Defenses that give up the most points, the most rebounds, and the most assists to the shooting guard position. We're going to give you our best bets, and then we'll wrap it all up with the bets recap. We are so freaking due for a sweep. I want it to be today. I want it to be every day. Giannis let us down on that 2-0 sweep, but hopefully today's the day. I like my bets I got going on today. Good slate of games, so let's get into it and go over yesterday's recap. All right, make it 2-0 in the last two under bets. Shangun under 22.5 points, and boy, was that a sweat, and I didn't think it was going to be. He had 13 points as he got brought back in the game with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I'm thinking this is great. I was still stressed out. I was telling people in Discord that stressing out an under bet just feels like you're holding your breath. I mean, it is stressful for some reason. I don't know why. And then he started scoring and scoring and scoring some more. Even when the game was out of hand, he hit a shot with like 50 seconds left. They were down by like 10. It didn't even matter. And then right after that, and you know what? We may have won anyways because, like I said, there's only like 50 seconds left. And right after that, he commits his sixth foul and leaves the game. And he ended with 22. So that was a beauty of a winner. But yeah, I just didn't even think it was going to be that stressful, but it is what it is. So that's why you get the early line value. That's why I give it out in Discord early because that line went down to 21.5 on some books, and under on that would have been a loss. So next one, Giannis over 35.5. You know what I'm mad about most? Not necessarily Giannis. I'm mad because the other two leans I gave out in that video, if you guys were listening, was a Jazz Thunder teaser that did hit. Of course, I mentioned to you guys that I liked the Giannis over because I thought that was going to be a competitive game. Well, guess what? It was, and the Jazz actually had a blowout at halftime and ended up winning the game outright. So I had that right, but I didn't go with that bet, unfortunately. And I also like John Collins in that game over points and rebounds. That one hit as well, but guess what? Stupid old me picked Giannis over as the one of the three that I like. So it is what it is. 101. I know some of you guys only go by my overall record in units won, and that's most important to you. But hopefully you guys are listening to the videos getting some other ideas, getting some other winners. Because, like I said, I gave out those two winners, but didn't put it on the best bet. So that's what we got. Overall record 87 and 80, now up 7.32 units on an even day. Let's get some freaking winners. I am just dying for it. I hate these one-on-one days or losing days. So, but before we get into that, let's talk some shooting guards. All right, let's get into the research. The 10 defenses giving up the most points to the shooting guard position right there on the left side. This is in the last 15 days. Blazers up there at almost 26 points per game to the shooting guard position. You can see all those teams. I don't need to list them, but on the right side, those are the shooting guards. Now, it is hard at shooting guards to list the right players exactly. Some people move positions, like number 5 over there, Anthony Simons. He was running point for a while. But now they got Scoot Henderson running point. Anthony's moved over to the shooting guard, it looks like, so he is now on this list. But you guys do what you want with this info. Anthony Edwards, Kyrie Irving, obviously can run point guard. He's been a point guard almost his whole life, but he is considered a shooting guard now with Luca. Dejounte Murray, same kind of thing actually. But yeah, those are the numbers. And then Desmond Bain, we'll talk about the Memphis Grizzlies later, but that was brutal. What we heard about John Morant being out for the year. And then Scotty Barnes, Tyler Hero down there, and Jalen Green for the Rockets. So those are the shooting guards with points per game. Let's go check out the rebounds now. And we got the Spurs, 7.31 rebounds given up to the shooting guard position. No real surprises up there. Maybe the 76ers and Celtics, I guess. But, it's not a ton of rebounds. It's still 7. And it's not a big difference from 1 to 10, as you can see. And then the shooting guards getting the most rebounds, which you guys are probably more interested in on this one. How about Christie for the Lakers? I believe he plays shooting guard off the bench for them, but he's averaging 5 rebounds. DeJounte Murray, 5.2. Anthony Edwards, 4.9. Jalen, nothing real surprising there. Jaden Ivey, 4.7. More on him later. Yeah, little tease there. And then Desmond Bain, Beal, and Anthony Simons yet again. So that's the rebounds. Take a screenshot, and then let's go check out the assists. There they are. Mavericks giving up the most assists to the shooting guard position in the last 15 days. Again, not a big difference from 1 to 10, but I know you guys like to have all the whole thing for the PRA, so I wanted to give you points, rebounds, and assists. And then over there on the right, Desmond Bain averaging 6 assists per game, and that will probably continue now with Jaw out. Malik Monk, 6. Levert, we got kind of some new guys way up at the top of the list, but other than that, no true surprises. Kyrie Irving's probably going to move up that list as he plays more and more now, and he's back to being healthy. So that's the shooting guard position. And now it's time, baby. Let's talk some best bets. All right, this first one, we go back to the 5-point teaser. 2-1 on the year on these. Let's see if we can make it 3-1. Give me the Mavericks -3 and the Raptors +10.5. That's at +100 on FanDuel. DraftKings 5-point teasers, I think, are like -120. It's a big difference. So if you have FanDuel, I definitely check that out. Check out other sports books. But Mavericks -3. Let's talk about that first. The first piece of news: John Morant. He's out. We just talked about it. It's just crazy. It's too bad for him. I don't know if I feel bad for him or not. He's kind of an idiot, to be honest with you, off the court. But either way, he's exciting to watch play, and that's a bummer for the Memphis Grizzlies. And this line jumped from about 4 to 8 once they realized he was not only out, he was also out for the season, which, I think we already knew he was going to be out. But Grizzlies this season without John Moran, they are 7-20. That's right, 7-20. It's just a devastating blow for this team. I don't expect the Grizzlies to come out just fired up, ready to roll after hearing news that their season is pretty much over. Let's be honest with you. That's not how they're going to think. They're professional athletes. I get that, but they know that they have zero chance to do anything special this year now that John Morant is out. So Grizzlies have played the Mavericks 3 times already this year. Mavericks have yet to have their big two play Kyrie Irving and Luca in any of those 3 games. Mavericks are 2-1 against the Grizzlies. In the one loss, they did not have Luca in that game, which is obviously huge. Luca is probable to play, but obviously stay tuned. You never know. Luca, last time we bet on the Mavericks, Luca was all of a sudden out for that game. So just be sure to check it out. Sounds like he's probable. And if he doesn't play, I still like the bet. I'm going to be honest with you guys. They just had Kyrie Irving and no Luca last game. They put a beat down on the Blazers. And this Grizzlies team is not much different than the Blazers with John Morant down. I'm going to be honest with you. And the Grizzlies, their offense just struggles, especially without John Morant, but they struggle in general. Kind of forces Desmond Bain to handle the ball more. As you guys know, he can commit some turnovers and just kind of moves everyone out of position. They just don't have their playmaker, their guy they go to. And the Grizzlies in general, 27th in assists as a team. That's not good. Obviously, that was getting better with Jaw, and now it's going back down. They are 30th in points scored this season, only scoring 107.8. I say only, but I mean, in the 90s, 107.8 is the number 1 team in the NBA, obviously. But A big reason is their awful 3-point shooting. They couldn't shoot the ball last year, and they can't shoot it again this year. Shooting 33.9%, that is 30th in the NBA. Oh, by the way, they've also scored the fifth fewest points in the paint per game in the league. And the Mavericks have impressed me. I wasn't high on the Mavericks going into the season after what I saw last year, but they played faster, they played better defense, and I like what I see from them. So I think picking up the tempo and the adjustments they made, I do like how the Mavericks are playing. And Luca seems to be improving every season on defense. If you saw his last game against the T Wolves, I read the report that he told his coach he wanted to defend Carl Anthony Towns one on one. Don't double, just let me take him. And the reason is because Lucas says he has some of the strongest legs in the NBA. He's big enough, he's strong enough, and he wanted to handle him. Just things like that tell me, you know what, Luca is here to win. He's really changing. He really cares about the defensive side of the ball. We all know he's as talented as he gets on the offensive side of the ball. But I just thought that was interesting. Not why I made this bet, obviously, but I just think the Mavs are going to be able to contain the Grizzlies team without John Moran. It's in Dallas with or without Luca. But like I said, he's probable. As of right now, all signs point to him and Kyrie both playing. So give me the Mavericks -3. I just need a 4 more point win. Next one, Raptors +10.5. I know this might seem a little interesting pick for you guys, but I like what I've seen from this new Raptors team, guys. They got injected with some offense lately, and man, oh man, did they need it. In the 4 games since that trade, they have had Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett on that team, got rid of Ananobi, who is literally on the court to only play defense, as I found out, even on the Knicks. He does nothing else, really. But they're 3-1 in the last 4 with these new players. And in those 4 games, how about averaging 125.75 points per game in those 4, as opposed to only 115 points per game this season? Actually, less than that because that takes into account those 4 games. But I mean, they're averaging about 10 points or more per game right now with those 4. And small sample size, 4 games, I get it. But they just have guys that can take over any night, which they've never really had for a while. So we got Quickly. He averaged 20 points per game in the first 3 games as a Raptor, and then only scored 9 last game. Okay, you think, well, what happened then? I mean, obviously someone else had to step up, and guess what? The Raptors finally have someone else who can step up. RJ Barrett, he scored 37 points last game after scoring 19, 14, and 14 in the first 3. We all know Barrett is inconsistent, but we do know Barrett can put up a lot of points when he needs to. And then, of course, you still got Siakam and Scotty doesn't know on that team. So I think it takes a lot of pressure off Scotty because he was trying to do absolutely everything. He's now officially in the shooting guard position. And it just changes how their team plays. They're just deeper. They got 4 guys you can count on to score. Again, Barrett, not all the time, but Quickly was really explosive and good off the bench for the Knicks. I just like the new look of this Raptors team. It's a deeper team, more scorers, and then they play the Lakers. Man, oh man, the Lakers have looked good only in 1 game against the Clippers last game. But before that, this is a team that still just lost to the Memphis Grizzlies and the Miami Heat, both at home. They're 18 and 19 on the season for a reason. They are just struggling, guys. They're just inconsistent. They struggle from 3 point line just like last year. Not much has changed. 25th in the league from 3 point range. They're turnover prone. They're a bottom 10 team in turnovers. And to me, when you watch them play, they're still getting inconsistent play from their role players. For the most part, you can count on AD, count on LeBron to do what they do. Austin Reeves will pop up, have a great game, and then someone else might a little bit. But for the most part, there's just a lot of inconsistency. And the Raptors, not only are they playing better, but in general, they have not lost by 11 or more points since December 15th. And like I already mentioned, I think they've improved offensively. Well, I know they have. They're scoring 125 points per game now. And they don't go as many scoring lulls. If you're a Raptors fan or you follow them, you know they can just go in these stretches where it's just like, man, put the ball in the basket already. And they don't have that as much because, like I said, they got 4 scorers now. So give me the Raptors +10.5. I may sprinkle a little bit on the Raptors money line. If Quickly's on, Scotty's on, 2 of these 4 guys are on. I mean, it's going to be tough, especially to beat them by 11 or more points. So give me the Mavericks -3, the Raptors +10.5 as my 5 point teaser and bet number 1. Okay, this second game takes us out to Detroit. We got the Pistons hosting the Kings. And before I get into it, just want to let you know I have 2 leans also that I have not pulled the trigger on, but because it's a small slate and I'm only giving you 2 bets so far in this video, I want to give you guys some leans and kind of talk through a few things. So in this one, Kings -11, over under 240.5. Kings 18 and 17 ATS, 9 and 6 against the spread on the road, and the Pistons 14, 21 and 1 against the spread this year. 5, 10, and 1 ATS at home. Over under Kings 18 and 16 and 1 to the over. Pistons 23 and 13 to the over. They are now the number 2 over team in the NBA. If you want me to pick a side, I'm going to pass. I do not have a pick for this one, but I have a player prop that I absolutely love. I think it's a sneaky good bet, but we're going to find out. But my bet is Jaden Ivey over 4.5 assists at -110 on DraftKings. Now, Kate Cunningham is out for the Pistons. That's huge news. Obviously, their number one player for Detroit. No timetable as of right now. But Mr. Ivy, Mr. Jaden Ivey, he's one of the guys that are going to get a big uptick in usage and playing time when Cunningham is out of the lineup. Last season, Cunningham missed a big chunk of the season. Ivy went from averaging 3.8 assists with Cade in the lineup, and without Cade in those games, he averaged 5.5 assists. It was a pretty good jump. He went over this 4.5 assist line in 14 of the last 15 games that he played without Cade Cunningham. Now, I understand they were all last season, so just take that into account. If that means that number means nothing to you, the team is still pretty similar for the most part with players and how they use players. But I just want to point that out. If that scares you away, that's fine. But it is last season. He went over this in 14 and 15, which is insane. In those last 15 games without Cade Cunningham, he averaged 7.4 assists per game. It was absolutely crazy. And then this last game, when Cade Cunningham got hurt, Cade Cunningham played 18 minutes and Ivy ended up with 6 assists on 27 minutes. He averages about 24, 25 minutes a game. He got a few more when Mr. Cade went down, but I think he could get 30 plus minutes. Obviously, we don't want to blow out or anything like that, but I just think the line started too low. So even with the blowout, I thought this line was going to be at 5.5 or something. And I know we have Killian Hayes on the team still getting assists, but it's not like he's going to get 13 assists or anything crazy. Jaden Ivey handles the ball quite a bit without Cade, so I like it. But obviously, let's talk some worries about this bet. Maybe the coach does something completely different than last year, but I don't see it happening. Maybe his rotation changes, but again, he's averaging about 25 minutes per game already. It's not like he's going to go down. He's definitely going to be near the 30-minute mark. Alec Burks is also a guy that could step up, but he's more of a scoring type guard. I don't think that affects this one bit because this is about assists. And they don't have much depth at the guard position, so I can't imagine anybody else playing except for their youngster Jaden Ivey. Now, the biggest one is the blowout, of course. But like I said, I do think this line is too low to where it's kind of blowout proof. I say that, and obviously, if the Kings are up 40 at halftime, then nothing is blowout proof. That would suck. But, the Kings have been a little inconsistent this year, too. Hopefully, they can just keep it competitive enough. I don't think going over 4.5 assists is that much. Ivy did get 6+ assists in 12 of his last 15 games without Cade. So I think over 4.5 is not asking too much. If they can stay competitive, I think you could get 6, 7, 8 assists pretty easily. So, and also the matchup, Kings allowed the ninth most assists to the point guard position. He's going to play point guard, going to play shooting guard, but he's going to have the ball in his hands. So, give me Mr. Ivy over 4.5 assists as my second and final bet for this video. If I have another one added tomorrow, which I may, I will put it in the pinned comments below. But let's talk the two leans now, real quick. Now, don't come getting mad at me if these two leans do not get hit. I am just thinking about them. I have not placed a bet on them myself, but here are two other ones that piqued my interest because I'm just here to give you info and want to give you as many ideas as you can. Maybe it'll lead you to another bet or something. But first one is it's scary, guys. Paolo Banchero from my neck of the woods, under 42.5 PRAs. I know it's tough with how he's playing. This is at -120 right now. T Wolves play slow. Magic are hosting the T Wolves. T Wolves are a top 5 team, allowing the fewest points to the power forward position. Boncaro in the last 3 games, because there's no Franz Wagner and because of overtime games, he has played 40 plus minutes now, 3 games in a row. 40 plus. This guy is not fresh at all. And I do understand that he's absolutely crushed this line lately. He has just been playing out of his mind. But remember, 2 of those 3 were against the Hawks and the Kings, 2 not great defensive teams, 2 teams that play really, really fast. And now he's going up against maybe the best defense in the NBA, especially against power forwards in the Minnesota Timberwolves. You got Cat, you got Gobert. This whole team is playing well. McDaniel. In the Kings game, when you look at his numbers, remember that went to double overtime. So that is part of it. But I think Banchero has one of his down games in this one. I think he's exhausted. I think he's going up against a tough defense that is going to be focused on him. I like his under 42.5 PRAs. Second lean is Scotty doesn't know Mr. Barnes. We have not talked about him in a while, and this is an under 2. Under 14.5 rebounds plus assists. It's at -130 right now on DraftKings, which means this line might go down to 13.5. I'd probably play it at 13.5 and probably not 12.5 though. In the 4 games, and I'm going to say with the new team, with Quickly on the team, with Barrett, with this whole new rotation, him playing a lot more shooting guard, here's his rebounds plus assists in these 4 games. Small sample size, I get that. 5, 10, 10, and 11. Hasn't even really been close to this at all. He's getting less potential assists, less potential rebounds. It's just a different type of team. And I think Scotty Barnes under 14 and a half. Now, he's a guy that could just go absolutely crazy on the boards and dishing out a lot of dimes. But with quickly playing point guard and how they're playing, I got to go under there. I don't think the books have quite caught up. So yeah, those are my two leans. Of course, they're two unders, but I may pull the trigger on one of these. I may have another one in the morning when more lines come out. But if I do, again, everything will be in the pinned comments. I'll also post any leans I have in the pinned comments below. So that's what I got for bets and leans for Tuesday, January 9th. Let's check out the bets recap. There it is, the 5 point teaser with the Mavericks -3, Raptors +10.5 on FanDuel. That is +100. And then the second one, Jaden Ivey of the Pistons over 4.5 assists at -110 on DraftKings. And then we talked about those two leans, and then any added plays will be in the pinned comments below. Thank you guys for watching again. I appreciate it. We're just in the grind of it right now in January. Hopefully, you guys are getting some winners. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys like for today. And let me know also who the most exciting NBA players are you've ever watched, like we talked about in the intro. But that's all I got for you. Again, NFL playoff videos coming later this week. So thanks for support. I appreciate it. Hit that like button. Leave a comment below if you have any time at all. Hope you have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you soon.